All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Karen, and I am from College Planning Source. And thank you for joining our workshop tonight on researching colleges. Researching colleges is a really important step. It helps in selecting colleges to put on your college list. And often, when I ask a student if they've researched a college, they always say, yes, of course. I looked at the website. Now, this is great, but there are so many other ways and other things to consider other than how engaging a website is. So I'm going to go over tonight all the ways to research a college and talk at a high level about the differences between the colleges that are out there. So first, let's talk about the differences between private colleges and public or state college universities. We are going to talk about how tuition, religious affiliation, size, degrees, and demographics differ at private versus public colleges and universities. So let's start with some examples of private colleges. So private colleges in California, a couple of examples, Chapman University, Stanford University, Occidental University. Outside of California, examples of private colleges, University of Chicago, Duke University, Brown University, just to name a few. So talking explicitly about private colleges, and we start with tuition. It can be pretty expensive, roughly $50,000 a year plus, but don't let that deter you from applying for the cost of tuition. Where there's big money costs, there also can be big money scholarships for students if you are above the average applicant. Some private colleges can be religiously affiliated, like Notre Dame. It usually does not mean, though, that you have to be of that religion in order to attend. It's more of just being open to the fact that the college is sponsored by that particular religion. Size of private colleges tend to be smaller than public or state colleges and universities. The degree programs, because they're smaller, they may have fewer options that are out there. And then in regard to demographics at private colleges, students tend to come from all over the country, even all over the world. Seeing it as a school that's not funded by the state it's located in, students tend to enroll from all over. So that's private colleges. Public colleges or state colleges, you'll hear those two words used interchangeably. Examples in California, you sure are pretty familiar with all of the UCs, UCLA, UC San Diego, etc. All the Cal State schools, Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, San Diego State. And examples of out of state of California, public colleges, University of Washington, UT Austin, UNC Chapel Hill, etc. As we go through the differences of tuition, religious affiliation, size, degree, and demographics, it does differ from the private sector. Tuition tends to be more affordable at a public university. If you are a resident of the state in which the college is located, you'll be paying less than if you are a non-resident. Public colleges do not have any religious affiliation. They are indeed larger in size, which obviously then will coincide with having more options for more majors. Typically, there is more in-state students due to its affordability. Moving on to giving examples side by side in San Diego, a private college versus a state university. So you can see the differences for each of the categories: tuition, size, major, and selectivity. Tuition, high $50,000, $58,420 to be exact, for the University of San Diego, versus if you're a California resident, about $9,000 for tuition. You'll see that the jump from at San Diego State for an out-of-state resident for tuition does get pretty pricey. Size of enrollment, obviously huge difference in sizes. 5,800 is a pretty small size for a college. Number of majors. Selectivity, the most popular majors, by all means not the only majors, but I would probably say those would be the ones most students are taking. And then class size. Obviously, at a smaller school, you're going to get more individualized attention by professors, probably will not be taught by a TA versus a big state school. You have the possibility of being taught by a teacher's assistant. Types of private universities. So here's just kind of a rundown of when we talk about private schools out there as you're building your college list, things to be aware of. There are colleges called liberal arts colleges. Liberal arts colleges, they really emphasize the well-rounded basis of your education. They tend to be smaller in size as far as the size of the college goes. They emphasize undergraduate work more so than graduate work. You usually will not have any teaching assistants, and you're definitely going to get a lot of one-on-one attention from faculty. Top tier, when we use that term, top tier university, that is going to be a highly competitive, highly selective university, often seen as prestigious. They receive federal funding usually for their research. Some courses could be taught by an assistant or a graduate student, but I would say probably the majority are taught by professors, and they are very competitive when you're looking at selectivity. Along the bottom of the screen, you'll see names of colleges that kind of fit into this category that are liberal arts and top tier. Differences between degrees. So this is something students often ask about. What does Bachelor's of Arts versus Bachelor's of Science mean? Bachelor's of Arts is, think of courses in the humanities, English, history, foreign language. Those are students that probably are not wanting to pursue a degree focused mostly in math and science. And a Bachelor's of Arts degree is going to give you a pretty broad array of courses for you to take over the 4 years that you're in college. So again, majors in the Bachelor's of Arts field would be things in English, art, music, languages, communication. Bachelor's of Science, when you think of Bachelor's of Science, think more STEM focused. These are going to be for students wanting to pursue computer science and engineering and math and physics and all of the sciences, nursing. Those are usually the degrees that would be under the Bachelor's of Science. Moving on to looking at general education or GEs versus major requirements. General education means that once you enroll at a college, you have a required curriculum in order to get your degree. Most of the time, GEs are the same courses that everyone will take in subjects like English, math, sciences, social sciences, humanities, and courses with diversity. Usually, you can kind of knock out your gen ed requirements in your freshman year or your first year of college, first or second year of college, most likely. Major requirements are courses that are required for your major. The majority of them are taken after your first 2 years. If you're at a large state university, something to keep in mind is once you're into your major courses, say your third year into college, those class sizes usually get a little bit smaller. So that's something to think about too. Your gen ed requirements are usually going to be consisting of larger class sizes. And then as you specialize, it'll definitely get smaller. Other thing to consider about your major requirements, you're not going to have students in those classes sampling them, for example. So most upper division major courses are closed to non-major students. So you're pretty much going to be in the classes with all the other biology majors, for example. Talking about location at a college is something that's also important. The differences between where is it located? Is it in an urban setting, a suburban setting, or a rural setting? So I'm going to go through the differences and give you some examples of colleges that are in those environments. Urban setting, think NYU, think Boston University. They are right smack dab in the middle of a large city. You're going to walk down a city street, maybe not even realize you're on the college campus. You may even think you're just walking down a typical city street. A lot of benefits from being at an urban campus. You are going to have a lot of access to mass transit, transportation, trains, cabs. The airport is probably going to be pretty nearby because it's at such a major hub. You definitely will have access to lots of internships, networking opportunities, and careers. Going out for entertainment and cultural events will probably be pretty easy for you. Definitely going to have a very diverse student body. And you want to basically be at a city campus, an urban campus, to take advantage of everything that it has to offer. I would say it would probably be difficult to go to an urban campus if you were more of an introvert because you're going to really be thrown out there into the excitement of a big city. Suburban campus, examples of suburban campus that I think about would be like a Boston College, a Northwestern University, Pomona College here in California. A suburban college is located somewhere between, I would say it's kind of between a large city and farming communities. Typically offers access to outdoor activities or entertainment in nearby cities. So you want access to a city, but don't necessarily need to be smack dab in the middle of it. Definitely benefits of going to a suburban campus. You do have access to a pretty big variety of forms of recreation and entertainment. You get a little bit more of a close-knit campus community. Transportation and connections are nearby, probably not as easily accessible as the urban campuses, but you definitely can have access to lots of opportunities. The suburban campus, I think students usually say, are the best of both worlds. And then lastly, rural. So you are out there, right? You're you're out there in the wilderness areas, small towns, farming areas. Think rolling hills, right? Rural campuses, the two I think of right off the top of the back, Williams College and Middlebury College on the East Coast. Definitely going to drive by some nature to access those campuses. Very close-knit community, a lot of access to hiking and skiing and the outdoors. The good thing about rural campuses is they know you don't have access to the city, so they bring all of that entertainment to you on the campus. And sometimes students say there's fewer distractions and fewer temptations to spend money off campus if you are as isolated on a rural campus. So there really isn't a wrong decision. It's all kind of about what works best for you. So thinking about all the factors to consider, building a college list is really important. And all of these factors are things that you can kind of talk about with your college counselor. The size of the campus, we've kind of hinted at that on the different types of colleges that are out there, small, medium, large, maybe even extra large, I would say, some of the big state universities. Affordability and financial merit aid is something to consider, definitely something to talk about with your parents. Major impaction, so that means perhaps you want to study a major that's full, for example, where there might be a wait list to get into it, or maybe you can't get into it. So that's something to think about as you're choosing your colleges and building your college list. Is it something that you're going to be able to easily get into? Research internship opportunities for undergraduates. That is something to, especially if you're in the STEM fields, I would think you want to kind of look into before deciding where you want to go to college. A college that has a lot of graduate students, it might be difficult to obtain research opportunities for an undergraduate. Campus life. What are things you're going to be doing outside of going to class? So in college, you're usually only in class for, I don't know, 3 to 4 hours a day. So you've got lots of free time on your hands when you're not studying. Does the school have a lot of school spirit? Do you want to go to football games or basketball games? Does it have a wide variety of student clubs and organizations? Do you want to be part of Greek life and fraternities and sororities? Definitely things to think about. If the major part of the social scene is going to weekend football games or going to fraternity and sorority organized events, and you're not into those kind of things, it could be something you think about. Gen Ed requirements that we mentioned earlier. How many of these classes do you want to take when you start your college education? Maybe you don't want to take any Gen Ed requirements. There are some colleges that you don't have to take Gen Ed when you first start. You start right in your major. Living on campus, mandatory on-campus housing. I usually recommend freshmen live on campus regardless if it's required or not. It definitely helps you integrate into the community better. It definitely helps you make some friends pretty quickly because you're all living together, going to class together. But that could be something that you consider if you don't want to live on campus and it's required. Proximity to an airport. Is it something that's important to you? Is it important to your parents? Is it easy for you to leave campus on holidays to get home? And then ROTC, is that something that you want to be a part of moving forward in your life and a commitment that you want to make? So let's talk about the resources that you can use to investigate all these things that I just talked about. These are definitely my go-tos as far as when I'm helping students look at different colleges to see if they're a good fit for them. So first is Custom College Plan. So that's the software that we use, and all of you as students of ours have been in this software pretty much probably every meeting that you have. We also refer to it as CCP. So if you go into Custom College Plan and you click on the college tab, you can research pretty much any university you want to learn more about. So you'll see statistics from sizes to cost to major to selectivity under the Custom College Plan college link. The FIS guide. So the FIS guide is something also that can be found in your CCC Custom College Plan account. Once you enter a college in the college tab, you'll see a tab for resources. The FIS guide is located there. The FIS guide, I actually looked this up, has been around for 40 years, actually over 40 years, and it's a way to learn about a college's vibe. I'm sure you may have heard, like, what's the vibe like at that school? If someone has said that, it's basically like, what is the student's perspective of being there? What are the dorms like? What's the food like? What's the social scene? Is it competitive? Is it collaborative? So the FISC Guide is a book you can also buy on Amazon or get at a library. It's definitely my go-to before I tour a college. I like to see it if the vibe actually, what I'm reading about matches my actual experience when I'm there. Campus Reel is a company that actually hires college students to use their cell phones to film videos of campus. Their dorm rooms, the workout facilities, the classrooms, the quad, the dining hall. You can get 1 to 2 minute little videos that you can watch. Campus Reel is also located in the resources tab in your custom college plan account. You can also go directly to the Campus Reel website and actually get a free account. College's website. So this is what students usually tell me. Once you have started building your college list, I'll say, hey, have you looked at this college? Have you done research? And they'll say, sure, I looked at the college's website. So what are you looking at on a college's website? You should definitely be looking at more than the academic page. You should look at the residential life, student activities, even the college's mission statement. If you plan to go ahead and enroll or want to enroll at a school that you're doing research on, I would also go ahead and join their email list to demonstrate interest. Common data set. This tool is excellent for those of you who like numbers. It's for you to view how competitive a college is. It's all about data. It will reveal what they deem important versus very important or just considered in an application. Do they go to a wait list? If so, how many came off? How many were enrolled via early decision or early action? So much information you can get from Common Data Set. You can find the Common Data Set information by using Google. You can enter a Common Data Set and then the name of the college, and you will see a pretty big PDF that will appear. There's definitely certain sections that I usually direct my students to. They're all labeled by letters. Section C, I think, is definitely very informative. B, C, and F overall, I think, are probably the most useful for students to take a look at. Lastly, net price calculator is something I use with students when families are interested in the cost of a college. So again, you can use Google and Google net price calculator and put in the name of a college. You can enter your parents' income, asset, basically tax information, and you will receive an estimate on how much it would cost to apply to that college. So what to look for? These are some things I'd like to mention that we kind of had hinted at throughout this presentation tonight. The mission statement and the values. What is important to that college? Does it align to what you're looking for in your college experience? Undergraduate enrollment size. Is this something that is going to be a challenge for you once you enroll? Are there too many students that you feel like you're invisible, or are there too few students that you might feel like it's high school all over again? Always good to go visit a college to kind of really understand what 5,000 versus 10,000 versus 20,000 students look like. What to look for undergraduate majors. We wanted to have the major that you're going to study. I haven't spent a ton of time talking about that tonight, but that is obviously the key factor in choosing a college. Does it have what it is that you want to study? The gen ed requirements we talked about previously. Do you want to take gen ed requirements? You can get pretty much most of the information you need right from a school's website by looking at the average courses that a typical freshman would take. Does it have student clubs and organizations that you want to be a part of? I think that's something that's super important. Like I said, you're not going to be in class more than 3 to 4 hours a day. So how are you going to fill your free time? Internships and opportunities in your field of study are also important. And study abroad, getting out of the US, or maybe even studying within the US in a different place other than your college campus. Most college students will definitely take part in studying abroad in different locations within their major. If you are a current junior, you should aim to have about 10 to 14 schools on your college list in your custom college plan account. I would say by May or June. I usually tell my students I want your college list by June to be about 75% accurate, and then by the time school starts to be 100% accurate. So what do you do now? So now you can go to your Google Drive and locate the student profile spreadsheet that is there. It's a Google Sheet that will help you in keeping track of all of the information that you have gained by doing all of the research that I just talked about tonight. You can begin by adding the names of 5 colleges that you have not previously researched and fill in the appropriate categories with the appropriate information. You can then present that to your CPSI counselor, and you guys can talk through kind of what you found. This is an example of what that student profile document looks like. You can list, as I mentioned, start with 5 colleges that you're interested in, write down the majors that you're looking at focusing in, first choice, second choice majors, list the 3 research you are interested in, list 3 research opportunities you are interested in and why, list 3 classes you are interested in and why, list 3 clubs you are interested in, why, do they consider demonstrated interest? You can find that information out on Common Data Set as well. You can even keep track on this document on if you've done a campus tour, whether it's an online or in-person visit. And lastly, tonight, here's just maybe some colleges to consider. Here are all the things that we talked about this evening: liberal arts, top tier, public, private, urban, suburban, and rural. So if you're unsure of what liberal arts colleges are, here's just a list of some of them. Same with top tier, public, private, urban campuses, suburban campuses, and rural colleges. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and see if there are any questions.